Hey everyone, well, it's been a year, 365 days of generating or creating content for Magic, a game that I enjoy very much, that I've been playing for a very long time. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I got a lot of questions from followers on Twitter, on Facebook, and from my patrons. So I've gone through quite a bit of them. There was a lot. I took some out only just because of brevity. I'll get into them eventually in the future. And of course, in true Delver fashion, I'll be doing a special giveaway. I'll be giving the details of that giveaway in this video, so stay tuned for that. I may also release a separate video for the giveaway. I'll see how I do it, just so that people don't really miss out. But I'll be giving details in this video as well. So let's get to it. I'm going to do a bit of a retrospective of my year really quick, and I'll be getting to all the questions and answers if you're interested to learn a bit more about me, Delver, a Bruise, and different parts of Magic in my life. Well, stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, looking back, this is my 279th video in 365 days. So that's not a video a day, but it's pretty darn close. Every week I have a pretty set schedule. Mondays are usually my deck tech days. Wednesdays are usually a foiled series episode, whether I'm opening it's a mail day or a foiled deck that I'm sharing, or I'm opening up a collector booster box. And on Fridays, it's usually a Friday night booster box opening, or I'm doing some sort of other informative video. And now I have my top 10 series as well, which will be taking up the Friday slots. And of course, every once in a while, you have a Tuesday announcement video for a giveaway. And that's been a schedule I've been pretty strict on. I mean, if you go back to all my videos, you'll see it's pretty much been true since last summer of 2020. It's pretty much been the schedule I've been sticking to, and I'm pretty dead set on making sure I stick to that schedule so that you have a reasonable expectation of what's coming every week from Delver Bruise, yours truly. So yeah, it's been interesting. I go back to my first video ever, April 1st, 2020, and man, I don't know. I think I've evolved quite a bit. Just looking at the intro and the way I'm talking in that video is like as if I'm sad and depressed, and I definitely wasn't when I was recording it, but that's how I sound. And yeah, I could just tell as the videos went on and on. I'll link to it in the description of this video, but maybe I'll put some video up on the screen for you as well while I'm talking. But yeah, I've just definitely changed a lot. The thumbnails for my content, believe it or not, I've put a lot of time into, and those have also evolved over time. And yeah, it's just a lot of things I've worked on. I've opened up a lot more. I like to be a bit more animated when I'm talking, and I talk like this normally, just in general, when I'm face to face with someone, or I guess past year, digitally face to face. And I've introduced that into my actual content as well, so you could hear me and how I talk in real life, not just when I'm generating content for YouTube. So yeah, it's been a fun year, and it's going to be another fun year going forward. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this year, 2022 and beyond. And thank all of you. I'm thanking all of you. If you've watched even 5 minutes of my videos in the past year, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I'm at like 2,600 or 2,700 hours of video watch time. That is way too much video watch time. Anyone that has to endure even an hour of me, it must be brutal. But yeah, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for helping the channel grow. I literally could not have done it without any of you. Viewers, subscribers, patrons, it doesn't really matter where you land. Thank you very much. And of course, I have to, if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to YouTube, apparently. And, it'll help me and the channel spread even further and have more and more people learn about my content. So thank you. If you want to share my content as well on social media, I would really appreciate it. Like I say it in every video, but I really do mean it. It really goes a long way. There have been a few of you that I've shared my content before, and it just generated more eyes on my content, and that's what I want. That's why I do this. I do this because I enjoy sharing stuff with you, people that enjoy the same game I enjoy, to different degrees. We all enjoy it in different ways, but I enjoy sharing it with you, and that's what I really like. I like the community that we're building. I like the Magic community in general. So yeah, for the 1000th time, a very Canadian way of doing this. Thank you. Thank you. So let's get on to the Q&A. So quite a few people sent in their questions. I got a lot of duplicate questions, so I'm kind of condensing everything. But I'll shout out to @FransBank on Twitter, Mr. Labufu as well, Mohalnik, Hads Lepet, and Max Hallard all on Twitter, and then Alex Hong, Matt Becker, and Brittany Nagy as well for your questions. So let's start. Oh, by the way, in typical Delver fashion, as you already know, if you haven't now, you will. I don't do scripts for my videos almost ever. It's all off the cuff. That's how I like it. So that's how I'm going to be doing this Q&A as well. I mean, I've obviously read the questions, but I didn't necessarily prep any formal answers for them. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Ideally, I don't stutter anywhere. So first question, not in any particular order. If you could purchase just one box of any master set, which would you pick? I really would prefer the original Modern Masters. It was just, nostalgic reasons. That's it. If it was more for just fun of opening of value and interesting art, then Double Masters, obviously, and I guess the VIP boosters technically. But yeah, I think the original Modern Masters would be my favorite go-to. Do you only play viable Modern decks in paper, like the decks you showcase on the channel? I play the decks that I showcase on the channel. Yeah, I don't really play any other decks, not anymore anyway. I did play Affinity in the past. I've played a lot of regular meta decks, Burn, the variants of Burn, probably some others that I can't even think of. But I always realized when I was playing those decks that I didn't get as much fun, even if I want a bit more sometimes, I didn't get as much fun as when I played with my own decks. So yes, I mean, and this is something I've always said, I don't deck tech just for the sake of deck teching. I deck tech because A, I want to share the deck idea with you, and B, because I believe in the deck. Even if I don't believe in the deck 100%, I'll tell you if I don't believe in the deck 100%. I'll tell you what percentage it is. That's why I have the match analysis video in all my deck techs. But yeah, I mean, I like the decks. That's why I deck tech them, and ideally I would play them as well, even if it's at a local FNM. Was there a certain moment that helped catalyze your decision to start the channel, and why did you also think about giving away cards? Well, yeah, it's weird. I don't think it had anything to do with the pandemic, because I did literally start during the initial lockdown phases. I don't think it had anything to do with that, because I work from home in general. The job that I have, the career that I have, has afforded me the ability to work from home, at least partially, with 4 out of the 5 days of the week, at least with my current employer. So, and even before that, I was working from home quite a bit, and I've owned my own company and my own businesses in the past. So I've always had a flexible schedule. So I don't think there was any given time where, last year was the year. I mean, if anything, I just had my second daughter born. She was like barely 6 months old. So it's not like I was teeming with free time. I just decided I wanted to get back into Magic a bit more regularly. I wanted to buy back some of the cards that I had sold, and that was the time. I don't know what it was. I don't think there was a specific moment, but there was something about me wanting to start a channel, which I'd been wanting to do for a while, and start sharing my deck ideas with other Magic players, because I really enjoy doing that. And yeah, I think that's just how it all started. There wasn't any one thing in particular. I think it felt like the right moment, and I went ahead, and I have not regretted any second of it. As for giving away cards, well, I mean, I'm not going to lie, obviously, right? I mean, the initial idea for giving away cards, and I mean, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, so let me just answer the first question. The original idea for giving away cards is I want to attract viewers to the channel, at least initially. But I realized that wasn't a long-term strategy. I mean, I'm going to only be, for the most part, I'm going to be attracting certain types of viewers. I'm going to be interested in giveaways and not my content. I understood that from the beginning, but I wanted to do it anyway. And then it got all kind of out of hand. And I did the big $4,000 giveaway, which didn't get as much attention as I thought it would. I thought it would, because I mean, $4,000 in Rares and Mythics, that's like 20 giveaways worth of giveaways now, which is like 10 months of giveaways. I gave away immediately to 10 lucky winners. And I wasn't BSing. I was serious, and I gave it away. You saw them tweeting back, because I do ask all the winners, if you like, no obligation, tweet it on Twitter. That's partially A, to let others know that, hey, I'm not BSing when I'm giving away these cards, and B, you know, just help spread the word as well. So yeah, I did it. But then I kept going. I really enjoyed seeing the reactions of people when they won. That really brought a sense of satisfaction to me beyond what was the original idea for the giveaways. And yeah, I'm going to continue to do it as long as I can, really. I don't know how much longer I can, while also feeding into the patron rewards. So I have patron rewards. If you're a patron, you already know what I'm talking about. But at the end of every year, patrons get rares and mythics sent to them, like automatically. And you need to be a patron for at least 6 months. But after that, for every month that you're a patron, you get more up to a certain amount. I mean, it's all on Patreon if you want to see what I'm talking about. But you know what? I mean, that's always going to take precedence. I'm always going to favor the patrons because they're supporting me monthly with their money. So, I mean, obviously rares and mythics are set aside separately for patrons, but I'm opening up enough product right now where I can do both really easily. I'm not in any way short. Eventually, that's going to probably patter out, but I'm hoping that, you know, the patron rewards will be so good that people will see some value in becoming a patron and supporting me and getting part of their money back, essentially, at the end of every year. And the more patrons I get, the more rewards I'll be able to give out to all the patrons. So, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping to get on the flip side of this in the next year or so. All right, how many playmats do you have, and which ones do you have in your using rotation? Well, for a time, I really liked very simplistic playmats. So I got like bland, like full color playmats, like all blue or all white or all red, and I would play the colored playmat based on the deck I was playing. I don't know. I really liked doing that. But recently, in the last year, I purchased that original Tarmogoyf playmat. The one that was, I forget which GP it was. Which GP it was. And yeah, I mean, that's my new favorite. Not that I'm playing in paper, but that would be probably the only playmat I use going forward. What was the first deck you played? Was it a Precon or were you a brewer from the start? Well, it depends. You didn't specify which format. I mean, the first casual deck I played, it was some jank I put together with my friends' cards. They didn't own any cards. There's this one friend, okay, and I won't name him obviously, but there's this one friend who has been the cause of me to waste incredible amounts of money on hobbies. First, that person got me into WoW, World of Warcraft, and I spent a ton of time and money on that game, and I still do to this day, well, a bit less than usual. And then they also got me into World of Warcraft, Magic the Gathering, which I've also been nuts on. And after Magic the Gathering, I said, that's it, I'm not taking any more advice from you on starting up new hobbies or games, because everyone that he introduced me to, I got super addicted to, and I poured a ton of time and money into. But then I started building my own casual decks to play with my friends casually around the dinner table, and that was always fun. So I guess I always enjoyed building my own decks, but of course it was casual, so I mean there was varying levels of competitiveness, and we barely followed the rules. But then eventually I realized that I was relatively competitive and I wanted something more. I played a bit of Standard, and by a bit I mean I played like maybe a week or two and then I gave up because I just didn't like Standard at the time. I don't remember what era that was, sorry. I also didn't like the idea that my decks would be rotating relatively quickly. I wanted something that I could play for much longer. So then I got into Modern, and I believe the first deck I played was a Black-White Tokens deck, which was a Precon. I modified it a bit, but nothing crazy. Played that for a bit, but then I realized I really want to build my own decks. So I started modifying the Precon a bit more, but then I came across Tmr Delver, which was being played by Jordan Boisvert, who's a big Tmr Delver advocate. If you are a Tmr Delver player, you know who he is. He also goes by his pseudonym on online, Ashton Kutcher. But I saw him. He was playing at my local LGS. I saw his deck, and something clicked. I mean, I didn't know half the things he was doing at the time. Something clicked in my mind. I'm like, this is the deck I want to play. It was a very expensive deck, but I'm like, this is the deck I want to play. And I would just watch him play. He's a very good player. I don't know if he still plays, but he's a very good player. And I just loved watching him play that deck. And that's it. I mean, I was hooked. And obviously I went and played Tmr Delver. I played Affinity. I played Burn. I played a few other decks. But I always stuck to Tmr Delver, and I started, tweaking Tmr Delver. And then it just kind of went on from there. I started building my other decks, and then the past was history, I guess you can say. So yeah, that's a very long answer to your question. Who was your first EDH commander? Your best, your favorite? When I actually played EDH with friends, it wasn't that often. We were much more interested in 60-card formats. 60-card casual, I should say. But Orlo, Ageless Ascetic, was my first commander. And I had it in some combo deck with Palkron. Not necessarily an original idea. And I just wanted to play it to annoy my friends, honestly, because that's the type of casual decks I would build anyway. So yeah, that's the answer. I don't know if I have a favorite, because I didn't play too much Commander at the time. If you could change one thing about Modern, what would it be? This is a tough question. I don't know. I would want nothing necessarily to change about the format. What I want is more visibility on the format, and I want more players playing the format. That's what I want. I want Wizards to support the format more by purely advertising it more. That's it. I don't need more sets. I don't need more bannings or less bannings. I don't even need events, technically. I just want Wizards to push Modern more than they currently are. I want more players playing Modern. I think it's literally the best 60-card format you can play right now that's both competitive and affordable and open enough where you can brew comfortably and still win games. Legacy is just unplayable in terms of getting into it now if you don't already have the lands, or if you want to get into Legacy and play some monocolor deck. That's fine. I did it. I played Merfolk, and I enjoyed Merfolk in Legacy quite a bit. But let's just get realistic here. Legacy is a game for people that were already, or as a format is for people that were already into it many years ago. It just doesn't make sense. Even for me, I do spend quite a bit of money on foils. Even for me, spending like a couple of grand on a play set of duels so I could play Tmr or whatever in Legacy is absurd. It's absurd. It's just plain and simple. So in terms of 60-card formats, non-casual, Modern is the place to be. So I want more people playing Modern. That's what I would change about Modern. More people playing it, and ideally building their own decks and coming up with their own decks, and not necessarily just flocking to high tiers. That's it. That's what I want. What are your favorite in-person events? Grand Prix, GPs, even though they've been changed now to Magic Fest or whatever. I just like going there all day, even if I don't, do great. Even playing in the side events, and just, eating poorly. That's always fun. And yeah, just being out, being among other Magic players and friends. I really like the GP experience. I traveled a bit for GPs as well in the past. And yeah, GPs. If it's something more local, then Friday Night Magic is perfectly fine. How has this past year been? What has been your craziest year? Well, the past year has been as good as it can be for a pandemic. Luckily, and I understand how lucky I am, I wasn't negatively affected in terms of my job. So I consider myself lucky there. My wife was on maternity leave for a long time, so it didn't really affect her. She found a job as well, though. So I've been very fortunate, I have to admit. Some distant family members passed away from that thing that's going around, but no one close to me, luckily. So yeah, it's been a good year. I don't want to dwell on it because I know a lot of people had really bad years, bad year. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that short and sweet. Craziest year? I don't know if I've ever had a crazy year. My years generally tend to balance out. I guess when my first child was born, I guess that's a crazy year. But it's more like a crazy few months, and it patters out as well. What was the biggest change in your life? How has the channel changed? The biggest change in my life was my kids, for sure. Not trying to be cliche here. My first child definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. Discovered a new part of myself I didn't know existed until my first child was born, which I think all parents go through, or at least good parents, which would be most of you. So yeah, definitely that was my biggest change in my life. How has the channel changed you? I don't know. That's a good question. I think I need to think a bit more about that. Yeah, that's a really good question. Just, I mean, I've always been nice. I've always put others' convenience over mine, to a fault sometimes. So sometimes I have to reel that back. I think the channel's helped me be a bit, more open. I tend to be closed, even though my career tends to force me to be open by definition. But yeah, I think, I mean, if it has changed me, it's been positive. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Which deck do you wish you could always queue into? I'm assuming you mean which deck could I always queue against? So I'm going to interpret it. Well, if I'm playing the deck that I always want to play with, which is Tmr Delver, any deck that has a greedy mana base, I'm perfectly fine with that. Combo decks, relatively straightforward to take care of, apart from Heliod right now, which is very annoying. I don't know if I have a particular deck that I always want to get into. I mean, all decks are fun to play against for the most part, except for prison decks and degenerate decks like Dredge. I don't know, anything but those, basically. Which set? Oh man, my voice is cracking a lot today. I'm a bit of a cold. Which set should they remaster next? I don't know. Tough choice. I mean, there's so many sets. Which set would I like to see that we haven't seen reprinted recently and like return to sets? I think Kamigawa. Kamigawa would be cool, remastered, going back to that set or that series or that block, I should say. That would be cool to see in a remastered set. If you were the creative director of Magic Universe Beyond, which niche brand would you partner with? Oh man, this is tough. You know what? Lego. Do it. Let it all burn. Let's partner with Lego. Why not? Let's just make it happen. Go through all the Lego sets, put them all into one special set. I don't know. Let's do Lego. It is part of one of my other hobbies, so let's just do Lego. All right. What is your favorite stat line? Oh man, this is tough. This is also very tough. Favorite stat line? Something as simple as trample. Trample gets me excited. Yeah, trample. Trample then flying. I know, I mean, I can go a bit more in detail, but like I said, I didn't prepare for these. I wanted to be off the cuff. What comes first to mind? Trample came first to mind. When did you know that Tmr was the color for you? Like I said, when first time I saw it being played, Tmr Delver in Modern, I was like, what the hell? What is this? It was all foil too. Maybe that's where I got my affinity for foiling. So I guess thank you, Jordan Boisvert, for all of that. Yeah, no, definitely. The first time I saw Tmr Delver was when I knew I wanted to play Tmr. And I've stuck to it ever since. Even if I'm not playing Delver, I like Tmr colors. I just like the combination of red, blue, and green. What are your thoughts on altars? I like them. I don't personally play with them anymore. I used to have some altered lands, but I stay away from them now. I just prefer the originals. But I mean, some altars are amazing, amazing. So I mean, it's great. It's great that there's an altar community. That's awesome. Hardest part of content creation, most rewarding part. Well, the hardest part is probably self-inflicted. Like I said earlier on, I like to have a strict schedule that I adhere to, which means, most Mondays I have a deck tech ready to go with 3 matches. That can be brutal sometimes, because some decks, like recently Is It Giants, I really grinded a lot with that deck. Let me tell you guys, might not even understand how much I grind with some of these brews to get it into the proper final stage, right? It's presentable and has decent win rates. So that can be tough sometimes. That could put a lot of stress. But the most rewarding part is when it's done and it's out there and I see your feedback to those decks and people like it and some people say they want to play it. That's the most rewarding part, so it kind of makes it worth it. So it's bittersweet. What would a 1 CMC Delver in red look like? Delver of Secrets in red. That's what it would look like. I want Wizards to print me another Delver so I could play 8. So, I don't know, give it some sort of like insane evasion and make it like a 3-1 or something. I'll take it. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably a bad answer, but I just want 4 more Delvers. Do you like to travel? No, not really. I do like road trips, so I guess that counts. I do like road trips. I like driving on road trips. I don't like being driven. I like to be the driver. So that's nice, but I don't necessarily look for it. And I do like flight. Like, I do like plane. I love riding in planes. I like that whole airport experience and eating crappy. Again, I really abuse eating poorly. When I travel, car or plane, but I don't go after traveling, like, at all. It's not a yearly event, for example. It happens rarely, and I'm fine with that. Best VR game? Best niche VR game? Well, I did recently buy an Oculus Rift S. I bought it back in January. I bought it for one reason, really, and that was to augment my workout routine. So I've been weight training since I was 18 or 16. There's a long story behind that, but no one asked me, so I won't get into it. And I'm always looking at ways to, increase my workouts, make them a bit more intense. So yeah, I decided to go virtual. I downloaded a game called Thrilled to Fight, which is a boxing simulator, pretty good boxing simulator, I have to admit. It's tough as you get into harder settings or harder modes. And yeah, I bought this, it's hard to explain, I guess, without showing you a photo. Maybe I will on the video, on the screen for you. But it's basically a strap or a belt that goes, you strap around your waist, and then has like these elasticy bands that you strap onto your wrists. And basically it's meant for boxing training, put some resistance into your punches. So it makes playing the game even harder, and you're sweating bullets even after like 8 minutes. But that's what I want, so that's what I'm doing. I know you could do a lot more on VR, I probably will, but that's basically what I'm doing right now on VR. So Thrilled to Fight. What's your view on the price explosion? Old stuff. Oh man, I'm gonna need another 27 minutes to talk about that. It's not my thing, first and foremost, and not because I missed the boat, not because I didn't start early on. I didn't get Black Lotus at $100. I don't think most people buying these cards, I'm talking about reserve list here, I don't think they realize what they're getting into. And they watch channels like Alpha Investments, which I like a lot. I really enjoy Rudy's videos. But they don't really understand where Rudy is in his life financially, what his long-term goals are. I don't think they get it. Rudy doesn't need, if he needed to move all his Black Lotuses for whatever reason, he could wait years to sell all those Black Lotuses and find the right buyer. Most people that are spending $2-3 grand that they don't have, or maybe they barely have, to buy reserve list cards, expecting in like 10 years or in 5 years or whatever they're able to sell them. Yeah, good luck. As the prices go up, the buyer pool shrinks. It's just what happens. And this is going to be true. I don't care what Rudy says. He's living in another world. So you can't look at people like Rudy. Like I said, as the card prices go up, the buyer pool will shrink, which means you will have to wait longer to sell that card. Which means if you are impatient, or if you really need the money, you're going to put it lower than it's actually valued at. You're not going to make as much money. That's just true at the end of the day. If you think that these cards are going to be easily liquidated, you're wrong, unless you're willing to lose a lot of money on them. That's just how I view old cards. Am I pro reserve list? No. Do I think it should be abolished though? No. Probably because it can't be. I'm not. I could talk about this a lot more, so maybe you guys can ask me more questions for future Q&As. Not my thing. I don't look at reserve list cards at all. I see no value. I mean, I could sell my entire collection and get a decent set of reserve list cards, but really not interested in that at all. And you know what? This is just assuming that Magic the Gathering maintains its current level of play, its current level of attention, but that eventually will peter out. I'm not saying the game's dying, but it will, cool off. And when it cools off, good luck, because that buyer pool is going to shrink even further. Just FYI. How do you plan on showing us your collection? If you're talking about my sealed collection, I'm going to be very careful. I don't want to give away too many details of the location that they are stored. I don't want to give too many details of the actual, storage space that they're in. I won't be showing certain parts of where they are, only because, the less information I give out, the better. For those of you that get my giveaways in the mail, the address on the return address is not my home address or anywhere where I would store cards. So, there you go. I try and protect that stuff quite closely. But yeah, let's just put it this way. Good luck. Even if you figure out where they are stored. Good luck. That's all I have to say. If you could design a card, would it rather be the art, the tech, plus a name, or both? I'm not a stickler for art. I don't want it to be ugly per se, but I don't really care. I care more about what the card does. So I'd rather be handling the tech. I don't even care about the name. Just the tech would be what I want. And no, I would be very bad at it because I would totally be biased and print something that would break Tmr Delver. If you could ask Watsi to grant you one wish, what would it be? That's rough. Hire more testers and test for older formats. Particularly modern, if I'm going to be biased. But for the love of God, test for older formats and test for your standard format. How about that? Just actually test. Don't say you test, because you clearly don't. Or get better testers. I'm sorry, your current testers are bad at their job. Least favorite card overall, Ensnaring Bridge. I'm not going to get into it. Ensnaring Bridge, least favorite card overall. Will you eventually branch out of Modern and do videos of other formats like Standard and Commander? Standard, no, never. Sorry. Commander, I'm already starting by doing deck techs of Commander, about one a month. I'm not sure if I'm going to go any deeper into Commander in that sense, but that's it. My time is finite. I do have a day job. I also have a side business that I run, and I have 2 young children, and I have a wife, and I have other responsibilities and hobbies. So my time is pretty thin. So I don't really have the bandwidth for more right now. Who knows what happens in the future, but right now, no. Last question. What's your family's opinion on your love for foil cardboard? They have no idea how much I've spent. And that's how I'm going to keep it. And they don't watch these videos. Not that they don't support me. They know that I make them. My wife knows. But they don't watch. And I am perfectly okay with that. Perfectly okay. Let's just make that abundantly clear. Yeah, that's it for the Q&A. Thank you very much for your questions. I hope you enjoyed my answers. And yeah, we'll do this again at the next milestone. So I'm sure you'll have more questions for me based on this one. As for the giveaway, I'm almost certainly going to release another video, maybe an hour after this one. But basically, I'm giving away 4 giveaways, 4 winners. I'm giving away 2 hallowed fountains to 2 lucky winners. And then I'm giving away 2 other sets of identical cards. Amonkhet Blood Moon, Amonkhet Threads of Loyalty, Threads of Disloyalty, and a promo Blood-Bladed Elf. They all have the exact same value, like all these different giveaway packs. But you'll see in the video, you'll see up close what I'm talking about. I think they're about $150, $180 worth each. Yeah, so a bit of a special giveaway for my 1-year anniversary. Thank you if you've lasted this long. Thank you very much. I'm not even going to ask you to subscribe or like the video, but yes, please do. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Even if your support comes purely in viewing my videos to the end, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Have a good one.